Part-time traders with full-time jobs have an advantage over full-time traders, not skill. The 9 to 5 hours that they can't touch their charts are the hours that wreck most trading accounts. I traded 30 minutes a day for 7 years because a banking job left nothing else. Those 30 minutes kept me alive in the markets, and then they built everything that I have now in my trading career. And what makes that possible is harder to see than you'd expect. It started with what the clock took away. The constraint every part-time trader complains about is the same constraint that stops the habits most responsible for blown accounts. And the proof is what happens when a trader tries removing it. In 2003, American hospitals capped the hours their trainee doctors could work at 80 hours per week. Before that, residents regularly worked over 100 hours. The extra time was supposed to make them better at their jobs, but the fatigue degraded every decision past a certain hour. And the doctors making the worst errors were often the most experienced because they had been awake the longest. Fewer hours fixed what better training and more motivation could not. Your trading schedule works the same way. And the hours you spend away from the screen are the hours doing the heaviest protection. I call this the subtraction edge. The subtraction edge means the trading advantage comes from subtracting the hours where extra decisions turn a good trading system into a losing one. After the first 30 minutes of daily chart analysis, every extra hour just adds chances to override a setup with a tired brain. In 2013, I ignored that constraint for 3 months, traded 1-minute charts between meetings, and lost over 90% of my account. That protection compounds over months and years, and no trading psychology course can install it because it requires hours the trader never spent. The trader with 30 minutes has the edge already. More screen time on trading charts just means more stress and more errors. Less is the edge. But understanding the subtraction edge and living inside it are two different things, because the constraint does not feel like protection while it is happening. It feels like punishment. And the proof that it's actually working doesn't arrive until you try removing it. If the time constraint protects the trader, removing it should produce a measurable drop in performance. And it does. And the number is worse than most traders expect. In September 2018, I had been trading profitably for years using my 30-minute morning routine. The banking job forced me to check daily charts at 5:30 a.m., place any pending orders, and close the laptop before my commute. It was working, so I decided to try something that seemed like progress. I started placing trades at midnight when the new trading day opened for my time zone. Same charts, same strategy, but the session was different. I was sitting at my desk after a full day at the bank, after supper, and after the house went quiet. I'm just checking the markets, I told myself the first night. And then the thought underneath it, the one that I didn't say out loud. The morning window misses the opening move anyway. The first few sessions felt productive. I was seeing trading setups the morning routine might have missed. But beneath the surface, the self-deception had already started. But by month 3, my account was telling a different story. Maybe tonight I'll catch the reversal, I'd think. Scrolling through pairs and markets I had no business touching at that hour. And somewhere underneath that, knowing I was just looking for a reason to stay in the chair. My brain was running on the last fumes of a 10-hour workday. 8 months of midnight trading produced an 11% loss and a 20% win rate. With the same trading strategy I had been profitable with. The only thing that changed was when I sat down and how much of myself I had left when I got there. The morning I went back to 5:30 a.m., the same setups, the same analysis, and the results started returning because the constraint I had removed was the thing doing the heaviest work. I call what happened over those years the constraint dividend. The 30-minute window was compounding months and years of decisions I never got the chance to make badly. The constraint removes revenge trades after a stop loss because by the time the anger arrives, your laptop is already closed and you are on your commute. It removes fear of missing out entries on setups that almost qualify because there is no time to sit and talk yourself into a bad trade. Every trader's version of this pattern looks different, and the free diagnostic quiz in the description identifies which one costs you the most before your next trading session. Check it out with the link in the description below. The midnight experiment proved something I couldn't have calculated in advance. Profitable trading is boring execution. The exciting sessions cost me 11% of my account. The boring ones built everything else. So the constraint stopped the bleeding. But preventing bad trading decisions is only half of what happened during those 7 years because those 30-minute sessions were building something I could not see at the time. And I did not recognize what they had built until years later. One of the most profitable trading funds in history had one rule nobody expected. Once a strategy went live, no human could touch it. Jim Simons built the Medallion Fund at Renaissance Technologies, and it averaged 66% annual returns before fees for decades. He was not a trader by background. He was a mathematician, and the decision that made the fund work had nothing to do with finding better signals or hiring smarter analysts. Simons noticed that when his traders had access to live positions, they overrode the system. They'd see a losing trade, and their training told them to intervene. Their education made them confident enough to believe their own judgment could beat the model in real time. And every intervention made the results worse. So he removed them from the execution entirely because retraining and motivation had already failed. Once a strategy was live, no human could interfere. The most successful fund in the history of trading built a wall between human judgment and live trades. Your work schedule does the same thing. It locks you out of the live markets during the hours when your tired brain would override your system. But you didn't have to fire anyone. The clock did it for you. I call this the clock lock. The clock lock means your schedule is a time lock on the vault, and it can't be overwritten by a fear of missing out or by the voice that says, just one more look at the charts. 7 years of that lock prevented bad trades by forcing me to analyze once, place orders, and leave. And leaving meant the trades had to work out without me, which meant the rules had to be clear enough to survive my absence. Rules that need you watching are just opinions in a plan's clothes. And in May 2021, the track record built something I couldn't have predicted when I set my alarm for 5:30 a.m. on that first morning. It let me walk away from my banking job entirely. I don't think I could have built that with more time because the trading industry profits when you stay on your screens longer. Your schedule is the one thing that incentive can't reach. The constraint that you've been fighting is the weapon you've been searching for. The trader who shows up for 30 quiet minutes and leaves already has the advantage. More time would not improve it. But the first 30-minute session where nothing on the chart qualifies, you will need a routine for the silence because without one, the quiet becomes its own kind of noise. So watch this video next where I show you the exact 5-step routine I ran every morning before the bank. Check it out and see you in that video.